everyone, welcome to another match of Temur Snow Control. Today we are playing Yorion Scapeshift. Gonna be an interesting matchup. This deck kind of plays control-ish combo, which is gonna be interesting because I think I'm still very much on the no companions train. So interested to see how this deck performs against a companion deck like Yorion. My opening hand was actually pretty decent. Kind of land heavy at the moment, but that's okay. Turn 3 Euro will probably ramp us in to more land. And hopefully no more land draws. So Blood Moon is going to be interesting. Now, I was suspecting Scapeshift from Search for Tomorrow being suspended on turn 1, but I wasn't sure when I was first playing this deck. But I can only assume that Blood Moon is actually going to be a kind of a pain for our opponent if it resolves. Let's see what we draw off of our Ice-Fang. A Lightning Bolt. More land. Okay. Luckily this was a fetch. We can go get another basic before we cast Blood Moon. And I think Blood Moon is probably the best. Now they do have blue mana up. They may very well have a response to this, but I think now's the time to at least elicit a response if there is one. There it is. So that's alright. I don't think that was a misplay. I mean, we weren't going to hold on to Blood Moon forever. So now we're going to play the Euro game where our opponent casts Euro, then we're going to cast Euro. And let's just see where this goes. So even more land gets drawn. Again, not a fan of that. But we will play our Euro. See what we get. Another land. Alright. Well, as I do like to be naive sometimes, so hopefully that means that we won't be drawing too many more lands after this one. I do realize that lands are about a third of our deck, but this seems kind of tilted. So Lightning Bolt takes out Ice-Fang. I'm really not willing to protect it. I can't right now anyway. We'll opt end of turn. Mana Leak is... yeah, Mana Leak is alright. I welcome it. At this point I'm sensing that Lightning Bolt probably won't be a big need in this matchup. So best to kind of get rid of it now. We have enough mana to cast Euro. We have enough mana to cast Euro and have Mana Leak up, which is important. Mana, alright, Euro resolves, perfect. We get another land, alright. Well, we'll go fetch another basic island. Astrolabe. Another land, alright, okay. There are other matches that I have posted that look just like this. So this is where Mana Leak comes in handy. I don't want them to draw or put another land onto the battlefield, but it looks like I let it go. And I think it makes sense because what I'm really worried about is Scapeshift. So Valakut is there. Now we have a clock. So Euro comes down. Now we Mana Leak. Next turn, we'll be able to untap and be able to Snapcaster Mana Leak again, if necessary. I'm fetching before I attack because I just really don't want to draw any more lands. Now, just doing a bit of math here, I can play Keranos and still have mana for Snapcaster Mana Leak. So I think it's correct to do so. We lose any padding if our opponent has a Mana Leak of their own or some sort of Mana Leak-like effect, but that's okay. We're getting bolted to the face. Scapeshift. So this is where Snap Mana Leak comes in, and we probably get a concession as well. Yep. Alright, so we won game 1. I would say that we were in a relatively good position the whole game. Now the question is, what do we bring in? So Disdainful Stroke kind of makes sense here. Spell Snare is almost certainly mostly dead card. I don't think our opponent is playing too much counter magic. They certainly are playing counter magic, but I don't know if it's a large enough portion of their deck for us to necessarily side in Veil of Summer. I feel like we're just relatively well positioned in the main. We can bring in some extra hate for the graveyard, or their graveyard at least, but I don't think we really need to bring anything else in at the moment. It's more figuring out what to remove to make space. I mean, Anger of the Gods you don't need, Magmatic Sinkhole you don't need, Mystical Dispute maybe as an extra attack against Scapeshift, but again, it's a very minor improvement. So let's see what we get in game 2 as an opening hand. Opponent taking their time. Alright, so that hand is horrible. Just horrible. Might have been good against an aggro deck, but we're not playing an aggro deck. This hand is a keep. Question is, what do we get rid of? So I chose to get rid of the land. We're most likely going to draw more lands anyway. That's how this deck is. We draw an Astrolabe, which is actually pretty good. We draw another land. There you go. This is why Stomping Ground was a good option. Was a good choice to put to the bottom of our library. Wrenn and 6. I think this is a worthy Force of Negation target. Yeah. And we draw another Ice-Fang. So far we're doing pretty good. Alright, our opponent takes Yorion into their hand. That means they didn't have a good turn 3 play, and it also probably means they don't have any counter magic in their hand apart from potentially Force of Negation. So we get another Astrolabe. Question is, do we play Astrolabe, keep up Mana Leak, or do we play Ashiok? I think Ashiok actually is a bit stronger here. Let's start milling our opponent and exiling their graveyard, because that's going to hurt. So we already got rid of €1, we got rid of some Abundant Growths. That's going to be brutal for our opponent. Another Wrenn and 6. Yeah, I remember letting this resolve. First of all, they're not going to get much out of their graveyard, and we can still ping it for 1. Not now, because Ice-Fang is dead, but you know what I mean. And nothing is going to last in their graveyard long enough, really, for Wrenn and 6 to do much. We draw another Stomping Ground. We mill our opponent again. So we got more out of them there. And again, this is pretty hurtful for our opponent. Granted, they do have a lot more cards in their library than a normal opponent that isn't playing Yorion. But that's fine. We're drawing more land, which is a bit of a pain here. Almost forgot to activate Ashiok. That would have sucked. It'd be nice to get rid of a few Scapeshifts using this ability. We do get rid of a Valakut, which is actually pretty important. So Renin 6 deals a damage to Ashiok, so we're only going to get one more activation out of her, but that's okay. We really don't want to draw any more lands. Ice-Fang is alright. Alright, Veil of Summer and another Valakut. Again, pretty important that we're getting rid of those lands there. We'll play Stomping Ground. I don't think we need to pay any life to keep it untapped. We'll just cast Ice-Fang this turn. Search for Tomorrow. I think I'm going to mana leak that. Yeah. Don't want our opponent searching for any specific lands. In particular, Valakut. Yep. End of turn, we'll play our Ice-Fang. Aether Gust, alright. Trick here is, do we really want to draw Ice-Fang again, or do we just want to get to our next card? I feel like we just want to get to our next card. Yep. Oh, I chose top. Alright. I guess I wanted a threat. So I think that's also fair. But I'm definitely not going to wait a turn here. We draw another Ice-Fang. Alright. So I think my decision there was good, even though I didn't necessarily know at the time what the result was going to be. Renin 6 kills our Ice-Fang. That's okay, we have another one. Keranos is an awesome top deck. Yeah, I think Keranos makes a lot more sense here. Start putting pressure, a lot more pressure on our opponent to do something. We have Force of Negation with Jace to pitch to. So we will attack the Renin 6. They either kill themselves, kill the Renin 6 now to kill our Ice-Fang, or they +1 it, so we'll see. Either way, it's not looking too good for our opponent. Okay, they're going to cycle. Looks like they're digging for answers here, so it looks like they have some dead cards in hand. Okay, they're going to go get their Ketria back. We draw a Blood Moon. We'll deal 3 damage to Renin 6, get rid of it. We'll almost certainly cast Blood Moon as well. And that's going to be very, very difficult for our opponent. So now, do we fight the Force of Negation or do we not? I feel like we want to fight it. Yeah. I think it's correct, because it's essentially game over. And, you know, with Blood Moon down on the field, Valakut is turned off. It doesn't really matter what happens with Scapeshift. Our opponent knew that, and that's why they conceded. So those were 2 interesting games. They went by relatively quickly. I thought they were going to actually be much longer than that. I feel like we had all the tools that we needed to attack our opponent. I just don't really, I really don't like the Yorion decks. I don't see the benefit of playing 20 more cards in your library. I know some of the math works out, but it's not a thing. At least personally, it's just not my style, and I don't see the benefits of it, really. Yorion is just not that powerful of a companion to warrant this kind of deck. So I feel like that this type of deck is gonna lose meta share, definitely, as time goes on. It's just not something that's happening unless another card gets printed that breaks with Yorion. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. I feel like we're actually relatively well positioned for this type of deck combo. We have a lot of counterspell. We have a lot of ability to put on pressure when we need to. We have a lot of ability to just kind of sit back and wait for our opponent to try and do something. We could win counter wars on our turn or theirs. So yeah, I think this was a fun deck to play against because we have to respect the combo at all times. But listen, I mean, we even play main deck Blood Moon, so it's pretty rough for a Scapeshift deck. I feel like the red-green variants that don't play Scapeshift necessarily, but just use Amulet Titan. I mean, basically using Primeval Titan and Amulet of Vigor instead. Those might be a bit more suited to play with Valakut and not use Yorion in those instances, but or just plain old Scapeshift without Yorion. So just playing your standard 60 card deck. I think those are all better than playing with Yorion, but that's just my opinion. End of the day, we won. I hope you enjoyed the match. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you enjoyed my content, I would appreciate a subscription. Lets me know that you want to see more and helps build the community. Thanks, and have a good one.